Bitcoin has attracted hundreds of thousands of investors in just a few years after Donald Trump announced the creation of a strategic cryptocurrency reserve. This chapter was written after the Bitcoin halving to the new 3-month minimum, which caused the liquidation of more than $100 million worth of positions. The reserve was taken by 36 investors. Index of the market and the number of the most low-profile names with June 2022. This was announced on the cryptocurrency media chain on the Rinek. There was a lot of interest for the panics and spread, which caused the situation. The use of tariffs in the USA, 4 with a 500,000 Libra bond, attack on Solana, and the rise of cryptocurrency on the floor of the million. All these factors created an ideal storm, forcing investors to exit at bad positions and realize that Bitcoin has reached its maximum. One news about a strategically crypto-valuetary reserve caused many to panic. Is this a temporary shock, or is Bitcoin a potential for growth? When analyzing the crypto market, it became obvious that it reached its maximum 2 years ago. The panic started, and the crypto market reacted to it. This is not the first time when global unpredictability causes a silent reaction in crypto markets. Over the next 10 days, the index of unpredictability fell to such levels that in December 2010,000, there were 2,010,000. March 2010,000, and March 2010,000. There were also peaks in the apple tree of 2,200 and 2,300 years. At this time, it is possible to trace a clear pattern associated with the course of Bitcoin. 4 of these peaks in the apple tree showed a higher volatility of Bitcoin. But this did not mean a sharp rise in price. During this period, a multi-month consolidation took place, after which a trend continued. A single exception is the apple tree of 2,200 and 2,300 years, when a long-term peak was fixed, after which a deep medium-term correction began with a drop of more than 60%. Based on historical data, the growth is unpredictable. The peak is lower, the signal about the phase of consolidation is stronger, and not about the beginning of a serious downward trend. If this is so, then the fact that we are choosing this time may be a very good phase of recalibration, possibly indicating that it was in 2,220 years. In this period, Bitcoin began a rapid rise over 2 months without significant pullbacks, followed by a 5-month consolidation phase with an August bottom. After this, the price tested the support level and confirmed the maximum that could be equal to the previous peak. Bitcoin experienced another rapid rise over 2 months, increasing by approximately 80% without significant pullbacks, suggesting a possible similar consolidation phase this time. If we apply the same 5-month consolidation pattern to recent price movements, the price might stay volatile, possibly dropping to the $73,000 support level. This $73,000 support is the level Bitcoin initially broke out from in November 2024, indicating a market digestion phase, balancing buying and selling pressures. The last consolidation phase was followed by a rally triggered by Trump's presidential win in November 2024, which sparked significant price movement. Now, if Bitcoin begins closing above $100,000 with higher highs and higher lows, the strategic crypto reserve could be the catalyst for the next major move. The recent price breakdown might have been a false breakdown, suggesting the market is preparing for a strong upward trend. The bigger question remains: why do we believe Bitcoin's price peak has not yet occurred? One of the most promising historical indicators for predicting Bitcoin's price peaks is the pi cycle indicator. It has not failed once so far. The indicator pi cycle shows two key average values, 1 year and 3.5-year averages, weighted by 2. Historically, when the short-term average crosses the long-term average from below, Bitcoin usually starts a peak through 2 lows. This pattern was ideally worked out in 3 previous peaks: in 2013, 2016, and 2020. Each time this was accompanied by an absolute peak before a sharp drop in price and a sharp decline in trading volume. Now you probably have a question: where will we be next year? The 1-year average is still significantly below this long-term average. The long-term average indicates that Bitcoin has not yet reached the level of overbought, which is characteristic for bull markets. Generally, some consider that this indicator can show the actual state, since Bitcoin has become more green and is integrating into traditional finance. With the rise of Bitcoin ETFs, a larger institutional interest, and the emergence of a strategic crypto reserve, Bitcoin cycles may change. One thing is certain: only the pi cycle indicator is not enough. Other important signals follow it. Another important indicator is Keyn's MVRV Z-score, which shows that Bitcoin has not yet reached the level of overbought characteristic for bull markets. MVRV Z-score measures how many Bitcoins are overvalued or undervalued relative to their fair value. It compares market value with realized value. Market value is the current price of Bitcoin, measured in millions of dollars in circulation, based on the capitalization of the company. It is constantly changing in response to demand. Realized value measures the value of each coin at the moment of its last transfer between wallets, showing the average price at which investors bought their Bitcoins. The difference between market and realized value correlates with the help of the statistical indicator Z-score, which shows extreme market conditions. Historically, when the MVRV Z-score enters the upper red zone, it signals that the market is slightly overestimating the realized value. This refers to the previous cycle where price maximums are formed. Such a signal clearly indicated the peak cycles in 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2021. Each time before the peak, the Bitcoin price was not below the neckline. This time, the MVRV-Z of Bitcoin is higher. But everything still looks below the red zone. This suggests that despite the peak Bitcoin price, it has not yet reached the level of the previous cycle, which historically preceded the purchase of the main waves. Additionally, the indicator of the pi cycle peak, the MVRV-Z indicator, also shows that Bitcoin has not yet reached the maximum of its cycle. For us, this means that the negative volatility of Bitcoin may not be the beginning of a medium-term cycle, but a healthy period of consolidation before the next rise. It turns out that at the beginning of this calculation, the number was twice as large as 3 times 3 years ago, and the list of calculations is based on the given conditions. But the list of calculations is based on the given conditions, on the exact 2-digit input. After that, the pair of numbers entered the range from 1 to 2 months, and the entire time the user was included in the exclusive conditions. The reality is that the term was a key factor in this number, and it is exactly such and such. With a technical touch, the main bitwise operations are known, the fifth and second days, everything else. The bitwise graphic shows the number of bits known to the number of impulses. This number reached its 2-digit main number, but it is in the volatile phase. The price range varies between users. This period of the box division can be prolonged by weeks or even months. Additional consultations have already been held. As we help the client, the problem of the higher rate of tax on dollars with the formation of new maximums and minimums will become clear. That the unusual spread was a false problem. This explains those who opened short positions recently and created conditions for a longer price rise. The situation remains more positive. If Bitcoin breaks through the key levels of the middle range and they begin to be withdrawn outside, this would be approximately 2 weeks to hold the second wave. The situation is changing. Such a technical problem of the situation is an obvious prerequisite for a long-term trend. Then the growth will be more confident and strong. Once upon a time, a very long story is being told, and we are left with the option of being an attentive listener.